Good morning, good people. I am just getting all situated here and making sure that all of our good things are going on, having some technical difficulties, but good morning and happy Sabbath to all of you. We're going to get started right now. I've had some fun messages just now coming in. Are we live? Here we are. We are live right now. Happy Sabbath and welcome to Family Sabbath School. This morning we are in the book of Ruth one more time. So it's going to be, hi Callista. I see Callista's online. Let me know if you're seeing this live. Had some weird technical difficulties, so we are a little bit behind schedule, but not to be worried. Do not be dismayed, because God's still got good news and we're going to learn from the book of Ruth. So let me know. So I see Callista is online. Let me know who else is online and what other platforms you're on. I see the Fargo family is watching on Facebook. Let me know where else you're watching from. And we're also going to take a moment to send each other some love, because remember, we're still not seeing each other as usual. So the best tool that we have right now is to connect with each other online. So make sure that you're using the comment section, or you can use your phone and shoot a text to somebody that you have not talked to in a little while and wish them a very happy Sabbath this morning. So as we do that, yay, we're on. Hi, Cadorna, say hi. Nice to know that you are online with us this morning. Okay, we're going to move into one of our worship songs. And during that time, I'm going to give you a chance to connect with some folks, use our chat like we just mentioned now, or shoot them a text and remind them that it is Sabbath and it is time to spend time with each other and to give thanks to God for all of God's goodness. So let's go into this worship song as we do that and connect with each other.
Water, I won't go under, I won't drown. When I'm in over my head, I know that you won't let me down. When I'm broken and down to nothing, I know that you are always up to something good. Something good. You something good. I know that you are always up to something good. You'll make a way, whatever it takes. There's nothing your love won't endure. I know that you are always up to something good. You'll make a way, whatever it takes. There's nothing your love won't endure. I know that you are always up to something good.
I love that song. Isn't it a fun song that we're going to be learning? We're going to be learning about that song next week. I'll have the video for you that has all of the motions because we love songs with emotions. I think it helps us remember the words also. But I love this one part of that song. If you heard it, God is always up to something good, and God is always wanting to share that goodness with each and every one of us. That is such an incredible blessing, and it's a promise actually in scripture that's for each and every one of us. So I love that song because of that. All right, my friends. At this time also, I'm going to remind you that it's time to give for our offering, and we've got some really awesome updates that we'll be sharing in this next week. Guess what? Our classrooms are almost done. Oh, so I'm so excited. We'll have a little video and we'll give you a little bit of a tour next week when we've got things pretty much. I've been getting text messages from our contractor and letting us know that things are almost done. We're so excited. And you know what? You are the ones who have made it possible because of your generous giving. And it's all of those, sometimes people think that the only way that we can help are these really big chunks of giving. It's actually every little small giving and the consistent giving that helps really big projects like this be possible. And guess what? It takes each and every one of us to be a part of this giving practice that helps us rise up together and do these incredible things for our church. So I'm so excited for you all to see these incredible classrooms. They are bright. They are super animated. I'm just so excited. So we're going to be giving you that update this next week. Okay, so I see all of these fun folks online. We have Kiri and we have the Dormus brothers from Michigan. We have the Filers online. We have the Thomases online. And we have the Strains online, the Crit Singers, the Alanis, the Emrics. Yay, it's so good to see all of these friends. Thanks for using the chat, by the way. You can continue to use the chat while we're talking about the book of Ruth in a moment here. So don't forget about those awesome things. Also, I wanted to give a little bit of a shout out to two friends that are having birthdays this month. And one of those is for Audrey Cortez. Audrey, we celebrate you. Happy birthday this month. And we are hoping that you have an incredible month and you get to see all of God's blessings, even in these unique times. Guess what? God is still looking to bless you and already is blessing you. So happy birthday, Audrey. Make sure you pop in the comments and give a big happy birthday to Audrey Cortez, who is turning 11 years old. It's an incredible time and good year to be 11 years old. All right. Also, we have a birthday from last week that I didn't get to announce because I wasn't here, but that is Mr. Samson Paya. So Samson, yay! We celebrate you as well. And Samson is turning 7, and we know that God is blessing you and has so many incredible things in store for you. So as your family, we're celebrating with you. Happy birthday. Make sure you drop in the comments and let both Audrey and Samson know how much you love them. So, and the Saunders are now watching. We have our Cortez watching. Leo's are watching. Tracy and family. That's Rocco and Maddie. Is so excited that everybody everybody is watching here. All right, we are going to be moving into our lesson time. As we move into our lesson time, here is a short recap on the book of Ruth from chapter 1, which was last week, and we're going to be going into chapter 2 this week, thinking about who Ruth was and how she helps us get to know the character of God just a little bit more. So check this video out.
In chapter 1, we learn about where Ruth came from. A man named Elimelech marries a woman named Naomi in the town of Bethlehem. They have 2 sons, and they all travel to Moab during a famine. Elimelech dies, and the 2 sons marry women from Moab. One marries Orpah, the other marries Ruth. Those 2 men die in Moab, and Naomi decides to return to Bethlehem. Orpah returns to her family, but Ruth travels with Naomi back to Bethlehem. Chapter 2 begins with Ruth asking Naomi if she could go and glean from the fields. To glean means to go into other people's fields and gather the grain that was accidentally left behind by the harvest workers. This was generally done by the poor, the foreigner, and the widow. As Ruth is gleaning, she comes across a field belonging to a man named Boaz. He was a righteous man from the same clan as Ruth's father-in-law, Elimelech, who had died. As Boaz is going through his fields, he notices Ruth and asks one of his workers about her. The man responds, "She's the young Moabite woman who returned with Naomi. She asked if she could glean here and has been working since early morning, except for a short rest." Boaz then says to Ruth, "Now listen, my daughter. Stay and glean with the women here on these fields. Don't go to anyone else's. These men won't harm you, and when you are thirsty, you may drink the water that my workers have." Ruth falls to her face, bowing to him and saying, "Why have I found favor in your eyes? I'm a foreigner." Boaz responds, "I've heard about your situation. I've heard that your husband has died, but that you chose to leave your family, friends, and country to stay with your mother-in-law in a foreign land. May the Lord bless you for this." Ruth is very thankful and goes back to gleaning. At mealtime, Boaz calls to her and brings her to the table of the workers to eat and drink with them. She ate until she was full and even had leftovers, which she saved. When she goes back to work, Boaz tells his workers to let her glean even in places that they haven't harvested, and don't rebuke her for it. He even tells them to leave some extra grains of wheat for her. At the end of the day, Ruth goes home with about an ephah of barley, which is about 5.5 gallons, enough to feed 2 women for at least 2 weeks, and she tells Naomi about Boaz, the man who owns the field. Naomi informs her that Boaz is a close relative of theirs and tells Ruth to stay with Boaz and work only in that field. So Ruth gleaned in the field belonging to Boaz until the end of the harvest and continued living with her mother-in-law, Naomi.
So I love this story. So great to have this recap. And chapter 2 is about Ruth and Naomi going into a different community and trying to figure their stuff out, trying to figure out their rhythm out, right? Okay, so before we go into this lesson time, I have another shout out for birthdays, and that is for Mr. Lenny Thomas, who turned 12 years old yesterday. Hi, Lenny. We are so excited for you. Happy birthday. I hope you had a beautiful time celebrating. And guess what? God is with you and has so many good things in store for you this year as well. Okay, my friends. So as we are thinking of this chapter, I'm thinking of one thing, and then we're going to move into our activity time to help us think about this thing. We have so many different parts of this book of Ruth that we can possibly think about. And one of the things that I want us to remember is that there is this kindness, this hard work, this persistence, or persistence kind of meaning it's like the everyday doing of something that we can trust. And guess what? Ruth does that. And in this story, her everyday everyday faith that is in her heart and that's in her mind, then helps her move in her everyday faith in her actions and the things that she does. And so part of her commitment, if you remember, as our recap reminded us, her family, unfortunately, had lots of tragedy. Her husband died, and then her mother-in-law and her other sons, they died. There was so much death in the family. And for them, it was devastating because in that time period, women had to depend on men. Like, they couldn't get their own jobs. They couldn't have their own property. There are so many different ways that we would say that they were vulnerable and they needed to take care of each other. So Ruth had the opportunity technically to go back to where her family was and let them take care of her. But she says, you know what? I am watching that this person in my life who has taken care of me also needs somebody to take care of them. Sometimes it's okay to let people take care of us. And then there will be times where we will need to take care of those around us who need extra help. And so today we're thinking about that Ruth's kindness for Naomi is then given to her by Boaz, who sees that Naomi has been helped by Ruth over and over and over again. And he sees that and he's inspired by it. He's excited by it. He's touched by it in his heart. He's saying, wow, this person is a person of God, because look at the way that she is selfless and coming to work on the fields and to pick up food. Those are really important things. How are we acting selflessly, and how are we seeing that God can bless that? I think it's what we call like a domino effect, which is, it can be a very good thing, right? So one thing moves the other, one thing affects another thing. And that is what we're hoping today. We want to kind of spread a little bit of that kindness and goodness. And again, it's kind of like when we were talking about the offering in just a little bit ago. It's not these really big acts of kindness that make the difference in the world. It's these little tiny bits of kindness that you and I practice on a daily basis that make the really big picture of the kingdom of God. And it's those everyday practices of you and I practicing love and goodness and kindness with our words and with our actions that make the bigger picture. So this is what we are going to be thinking about now as we think about how are we able to contribute in the same way that we saw Ruth show kindness and consistency. And this is a practice in trust, trusting that God is with us. Even when we don't feel like it, can we share kindness and goodness and be there for one another, even when we're not fully sure we understand why we're doing this? Like, I don't even know this person. Why do I have to be kind to this person? Technically, Boaz is family of Naomi and Ruth, but he doesn't know them. So he doesn't have to be kind to them, but he is seeing that their kindness and their goodness is a part of something bigger. So what are the ways that you and I can do that? So what we're going to do, I would love for your help this week in spreading kindness and good news. And I would love for you to take a moment now, take your pens and a piece of paper and write a letter. I'm going to give you a few moments to start that. What are ways that we can help in these small, tiny ways? Remember, we can't do all of the things, but we can do some things. And one of the things that we can do to be people of hope and to help people remember that God is alive and good and still seeing us through difficult times is by sending messages of hope and of goodness. So I am hoping, I'm actually getting a reminder of the thing that we're doing right now. If you're hearing the sirens from my house, we're going to be making letters for firefighters and frontline workers right now who are doing exactly this. They don't have to help people who are affected by fires right now. It is their job and they do get paid for it, but they don't have to do those things, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to write a note or a letter that you can deliver to your local firefighter house this week. And maybe as a part of that, maybe you can pick up like a special treat, kind of thinking about the way that Boaz allowed for Ruth to pick up treats or food in her space. Maybe you can, and I can do that this week as a way of extending this story's goodness, that when we act in kindness, then kindness is then shared with somebody else. It's like this, so much goodness is shared. So that is what we're going to be practicing right now. I'm going to give you a moment. You don't have to know anybody's name. You can say, "Dear awesome firefighter, dear amazing frontline worker," and remind them that what they are doing to help somebody who is in need right now that cannot help themselves is important, and it's a part of the work of God. So I'm going to give us a moment now to do that, and then I've got some more announcements just after that. So go ahead and take a moment now. All right, my friends, thank you so much for taking the time to make a card and to send some really good news and positive love to somebody in our community that at this time is needing extra encouragement and love. And so these little cards, these little things that we're doing, they actually go a really long way. Don't forget that it's the little things, the everyday practices of kindness and encouraging people and sharing goodness with one another. Those are the things that make the largest difference. So this is one way that you can do that. So make sure that you and your family schedule a time. Let's not let these cards kind of just sit on our desks or on our tables. Schedule a time this week to drop those off to some firefighters in your community and let them know how much they are cared for and loved. And let's think of different ways this week using our words, using our actions, the ways even in our minds and in our hearts, because that's where things start, right? Before they become actions and before they come words, they actually start in our minds and in our hearts. What are ways that we can learn from Ruth and Boaz and this entire story? How can we learn about God's character? I certainly think that this is teaching us that God is generous, that God is always wanting good things for you and me, and then God is helping us help one another in how to take care of each other, which is so important. Okay, so thank you so much for doing that. And don't forget to post your cards. We want to be inspired by you. I want to see what you have been making. I want to see what ways you have been spreading the good news of Jesus, right? How are you sharing that love? You can post those on Instagram and tag us at Lost Year at Kids, or you can also post it on Facebook and also tag us in the same way. So let us know. All right, before we finish up, that's all I have for you for Sabbath School today. Thinking about God's goodness in our community. How are we a part of that? It is powerful. It's the small things we do that make the everyday big difference, right? So as we finish up in our Sabbath School, this month is so full of so much celebration for birthdays. This is beautiful. So I have 2 more birthdays that came in, and the first one is Zealand, who is going to be turning 12. Happy birthday, Zealand. We're so excited that we get to celebrate your birthday here online as your church community. We're sending you all of the love. And then also I have heard that it's also Braden Emmerich's birthday. Happy birthday to you also, Braden, and we are sending blessings and love your way. So excited for a whole new year of life and adventure for each and every one of you who's had a birthday today. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 birthdays. Don't forget that you can continue to send those my way and let me know who is having a birthday so that we can share them here. And don't forget to wish these friends a happy birthday online here as well. All right, as we finish our Sabbath School time, I invite you to sing this song that we have been singing for quite a while now. It is the prayer that Jesus taught us, and we've just started learning it with a little bit of a tune so that we can continue to remember that. So here we go.
Our Father in heaven, holy is your name. We welcome your kingdom here on earth to reign. Give us what we need today. Forgive us for our mistakes. Help us not to go the wrong way. We forgive all others who have hurt us. You get the glory forever. Amen.
I love our prayer song. It's just a reminder again, over and over, that God's goodness is with us and that we get to share that and extend that to people around us. Thank you so much, everybody, for being online with us this morning and for taking the time to wish each other, each of these 5 awesome humans, an awesome birthday this week. Make sure you check in with them and continue to share the love. So as we finish today, I can't wait to see the cards and the notes of good news that you are going to be sharing with our firefighter friends or frontline workers. So much good news awaits to be shared this week, and you are going to help us do that. So thank you so much for saying yes to being the hands and feet of Jesus and the voice of Jesus this week. And I'm so thankful for this story of Ruth that helped us think that way. So as we finish off, a reminder that you can stay tuned with us and watch the church service that is coming up just in a few. And happy Sabbath to each and every one of you. And we'll see you next time.